what can you say? Notre Dame cruised 38-zip over Wake Forest, traditionally a basketball school, and I hope you all had a really great time there. It was great to see all your pictures and your touchdown Jesus, and Rick posted a lot of great photos as you guys got the tour there at the university. So that's great. You guys moved into #1, so enjoy it while you can. On the USC side, no secret, the classic underachievers. They haven't done anything well this year. They're not supposed to lose 4 games, let alone 5 games. You're not supposed to lose to UCLA. They did all of the above, and this was supposed to be, this golden season for the Trojans. So much for the hype. It's the reality of the situation. But now, Saturday's upon us. Well, it's almost upon us. It's in a few more days. November 24th at 5 p.m. Pacific time. That'll be 7 p.m. your time. 8 p.m. for Jed and Veronica and Michael there in the Eastern time zone. But anyway, Saturday night, it all comes crashing down for Notre Dame. All the pressure is on the Irish. The Trojans have nothing to lose. The only thing they have to lose is potentially their coach if they lose this game. But if they win this game, I think he'll get another shot at it. But here it comes. So I know Rick is having a party. I expect my ribs here in time to join you guys spiritually, as it were. But I'm looking forward to Saturday night when it comes head-to-head and Notre Dame's national championship claims hopes are dashed by the Trojans. All right, enough of that. So let's talk about last week. I went 3-3 on my picks. 500 again, flipping a coin over here. I stand 38-25 on the season, and that's 60.3%. So just about a D. I think that's about par for the course. But anyway, let's look at the week that was. Rick continues his unbeaten streak. He played Tyson, Mighty Mullets. Final score was 116-97. Rick well below his scoring average and well below his projected point total of 151. He gets 39 out of Breeze, which is subpar for him, and 10 out of Demarius Thomas, 14 out of Matt Bryant. Decent production out of Cecil Shorts and Trent Richardson, but then not a lot of other help. Tyson, on the other hand, is just phoning it in. He starts Russell Wilson, who was off this week, and Rob Baronis, who was off this week. So Tyson left 2 big holes. He was only projected to score 61 points, but he actually outperformed projections by scoring 97. But Rick remains, his unbeaten streak remains. Smell this over the Rednecks. Dawn is having a hell of a time here over the last couple of weeks producing points. She is, having subpar performances herself. My computer has decided to lock up on me here. Come on, baby. The final in this one was 149.5 to 97.3. I got a great game out of Robert Griffin III, 52 points, and Calvin Johnson with 23, and LaRod Stevens Howling, my children's author, 24.3 and 15 out of A.J. Green. He's been money all year. Only 42.8 from Andrew Luck, not bad. But the remainder of Dawn's team, with the exception of her kicker, who got 11, and her San Francisco defense, who annihilated Chicago last night. You Bears fans have to be wondering what happened. Besides Cutler being out, but it's hard to imagine that you can't win without Cutler. But apparently that's the case. Dawn only put up 97. Looking at Girard Invincibles, he finally gets back. Grandpa finally gets back on the win streak. Taking on Michael. Michael had only one guy on bye, Jared Cook, his second tight end. Got to have more than one, I suppose. But Grandpa wins 110.3 to 77.3. Grandpa well below his scoring projected of 135. But he's back with Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers had a tough game, but he ended up winning 24-20 over Detroit. 33.9 for Rodgers. As I mentioned, Bears 6 had a tight end on bye. Guys, you got to get those byes covered up. 1 second here. All right. Blood, Sweat, and Beer, and Blue and Gold. This had a lot of playoff ramifications on this one. This one, we'll get to it in a minute, but this one put Danny in the playoffs, at least temporarily, and knocked Jake out, at least temporarily. Again, this computer. Responsiveness, people. Let's go. 103 for Jake to 126 for Danny. Danny a little bit below her scoring projections. Matt Stafford with a tough game against the stubborn Green Bay defense. Stephen Ridley had a tougher game than what expected, as did Frank Gore. But as I said, Danny was able to pull the win out with 126 points, knocking Mr. Man Jacob out of playoff contention. Mama 4 Boldens versus Decepticons. Decepticons rolled by more than 100 points. 116.7 to be exact. Jed with 170.7 would have beat all comers this week. Check it out. And he even had Marshawn Lynch on bye. No wonder you were apologizing for not paying attention, Jed. But 56 from Brady, 38.3 from Andre Johnson, 21.8 from Ben Jarvis Green Ellis, and my beloved Green Bay Packer defense put up 26 points to lead the Decepticons. Mama 4 Boldens, 1, 2, 3 buys and 1 uncovered position. Tisk, tisk, tisk. All right, and I think in our final game, show me them TDs. Really singing the blues about fantasy. Man, she just could not get any love from Matt Forte on Monday night. She ended up losing this one, 117.8 to 115.1 to Alex. Rebecca lost to Alex by, what is that, 2.7 points. Right, 2.7 points. That's 27 more yards by Matt Forte. 28 more yards by Matt Forte, and Rebecca would have won this one. But both teams, Rebecca scored right where she thought, right where the system thought she should. Projected she was 116, but she put up 115. Alex, well below projected. 143 was projected. All right, so let's take a look at our at the league standings. So this is week number 11. We're going to play week number 12, week number 13, and then that's it for regular season. Those teams that make the playoffs obviously go into a 16 playoffs. Those teams that don't make the playoffs, they have a consolation kind of tournament going on. So you'll still have games to play over weeks 14, 15, and 16. They won't count for anything, but you will have games to play. Also, no dumping of players. You guys that don't make the playoffs, don't be unloading your teams. Nobody's done that in the past. Just want to make sure that we don't do that going forward. And if you do that, do it when I'm online, because I could use a little pick-me-up. Any rate, here's where we are. This is 1 through 6. Mud Dogs, having clinched a playoff spot last week, now stands 11-0 with 1,728 points. Smell This, also clinched a playoff spot just this week, 9-2 at 1,502. Third, the Rednecks is 7-4, 14.26. Fourth, the Decepticons at 6-5 with 1,503. Sixth, Beehole Wreckers at 5-6 with 1,403. Now, here's our teams on the bubble. Number 7, Blue and Gold, 5-6 at 1,390. Excuse me, 1,390 points. Number 8, Mighty Mullets, sneaking into playoff contention, somehow losing his way into playoff contention. At any rate, 5-6 at 1,151. And number 9, Girard Invincibles, 4-7 with 1,399 points. Outside looking in are Show Me Them TDs, Bear 6, and Mama 4 Boldens. That's just to say where we are today. You know, we still got games to play. Those 5th and 6th and 7th and 8th and 9th, those positions can flip around very quickly on the outcome of a weekend. So no reason to give up if you haven't made the playoffs yet. But both Mud Dogs and Smell This have clinched their playoff spots. Both will get a first-round bye as it looks right now. And in fact, mathematically, I shouldn't say that. It is mathematically possible that Rednecks could unseat me as leader of the Gold Division. Looking at, let's talk real quick about our schedule. So we've got 3 games this weekend. We got 3 games on Thursday, I should say, because it's Turkey Day. So our traditional Detroit game is Detroit versus Houston. Our traditional Dallas game is the Cowboys versus the Redskins. That'd be a lot of fun to get to see RG3 go crazy down there. And then we've got a Thursday night game on NBC, the Patriots at the Jets. And that's AFC East, two teams that play each other a lot and don't really care for each other. On bye, could it be true? It is true. Let me just confirm this. I don't want to be mistaken. But it looks like, my friends, it's an all-skate weekend. It's an all-skate weekend. Buys are over. Thank goodness. Buys are over. I think we can declare them dead and gone. Let's make sure that there's nothing in week 13. Yes, no teams on bye. Thank you. Thank you, football. No teams on bye week 12. Buys are a thing of the past. All right. Week 12, matchups. Here we go. Smell this versus Bears 6. Right now, it's a 122 to 118 projected win for Smell This. I've got all my players. I need to cover for Fred Jackson. I ran it and raved last week about him, but did not cover. Tony Romo against Washington. Dallas is just horrible this year, but Michael does have C.J. Spiller against Indiana, and they're a little run-sensitive there. Still, I'm going to give the pick to Smell This and that beautiful 9-2 record. Mama of Four Boldens versus... Come on, take the pick. Mama of Four Boldens versus the Mighty Mullets. Tyson, you are in playoff contention, my friend. If you just put a little bit of effort into this, you could see yourself go. It's 93 to 98 in favor of Mighty Mullets right now. Key matchups: Russell Wilson against Miami, Antonio Brown against Cleveland, Roddy White against Tampa Bay for Tyson. Veronica's Josh Freeman against Atlanta. Ooh, not good. Victor Cruz against Green Bay. They're not the best defense in the world. And all your Giants against Green Bay. So that should be okay. But Veronica, do yourself a favor. Get a defense in there, girl. Come on. Get your defense undone. I'm going to give my pick to Mama for Boldens. I know she's going to put a defense in there. Show me them TDs versus the Girard Invincibles. 2 4-7 teams. Rebecca needs a win. It's 122-115, her favor right now. Key matchups: Carson Palmer against Cincinnati. I'm not liking that. You might want to reconsider. Eric Decker against Kansas City. That's a good matchup. And Michael LeShore against Houston. Not a good matchup. For Grandpa, Aaron Rodgers against the Giants. There's going to be like 600 points right there. Ha! You heard me, Veronica. But Grandpa has nobody else. He's got Sean Vereen. That's Ben Vereen's little brother. Still, I'm going to give the pick to Invincibles because I know my boy Aaron Rodgers is going to come through. Rednecks versus Beehole Wreckers, 2 playoff teams right here. Rednecks at 7-4, Beehole Wreckers at 5-6. Andrew Luck against Buffalo. Marcus Colston against San Francisco, and James Jones against the New York Football Giants for Dawn. For Alex, Matty Ryan against Tampa Bay. Used to be an issue with that defense, but no mo. Danny Amendola against Arizona, Pierre Thomas against San Francisco, and Doug, the Steam Train Martin, against Atlanta. Let's see if he's for real. This would be a good matchup against a good team, a good defensive team for Doug Martin. Let's see if he deserves those Rookie of the Year honors. Right now, it's a 131-111 in favor of Alex. I'm going to go with the Beehole Wreckers. The Decepticons versus Blood, Sweat, and Beer. Both teams are playoff bound as it stands right now. But let's see how it factors out. Jet at 6-5 has Tom Brady against the aforementioned New York Football Jets. Andre Johnson against the Detroit Lions, and Marshawn Lynch against Miami. For this internet is killing me here. For Danny, Matthew Stafford against Houston, Vincent Jackson against Atlanta, Denario Alexander against Baltimore. I'm going to give the pick to Jed. It's it's actually 109-138 in Danny's favor right now. I'm going to go with Danny. I think she's got the big mo on her side, and those projected points is just too big to ignore. And in our matchup of the week, undefeated Mud Dogs against the real team, the blue and the gold, on Notre Dame USC rivalry weekend. Mud Dogs, Uncle Rick against Jake. Come on, Internet. Good Lord. 11-0 versus 5-6. Right now on paper, it's 141-116 in favor of Mud Dogs. I'm just going to give it to Jake, but let's just do the Let's just do the analysis.